The hardest walk you will ever take is the walk you take completely alone. Most people cannot handle it. The moment the room goes quiet, the moment the text messages stop coming, and the moment they look around and realize nobody is standing next to them, panic sets in. They mistake isolation for weakness. They mistake a quiet room for failure, so they run back to the crowd. They seek shelter in the pack, trading their potential for the warm, numbing comfort of acceptance. They allow the mediocre standards of the herd to dictate their pace, their dreams, and their ultimate destination. But you are not most people. To build an undeniable life, you must understand a brutal truth. Excellence is a minority sport. The crowd does not run at the pace of greatness. The pack runs at the pace of survival, comfort, and safety. If you wait for your friends to agree with your ambition, you will wait forever. If you need a training partner to show up before you commit to the work, you have already surrendered your power. True discipline is not a group activity. It is a lonely, silent, relentless commitment to a standard that nobody else can see. When you become so disciplined that you no longer mind walking alone, you become dangerous. You become emotionally untouchable. Because when you do not require the approval, the presence, or the validation of others to execute your daily battles, you remove their power over your life. You are no longer a slave to their opinions. You are no longer waiting for a green light from people who are content to live in the green valleys of mediocrity. You climb the mountain on your own feet, driven by an internal flame that external storms cannot extinguish. Look closely at the history of those who left an indelible mark on this world. The ancient Spartans understood that a warrior is forged in the absence of comfort. In the ancient texts of Plutarch, it is written that when a young Spartan walked home from his meals at night, he was forbidden from carrying a torch. He was forced to walk through the absolute pitch-black darkness completely alone. This was not a punishment, it was a deliberate psychological calibration. The elders knew that a warrior who fears the dark, a warrior who relies on an external light to find his way, is a liability on the battlefield. They forced them into the shadows so they would become familiar with the dark. They wanted them to realize that the light doesn't come from a torch held in the hand. The light is forged within the spirit. Today, modern society has built a digital torch for everyone to hold. We carry the constant noise of notifications, the shallow validation of likes, and the desperate need to feel included. We have become terrified of the dark. We have become terrified of the silence. We look for a crowd to tell us we are doing a good job. We look for a partner to keep us motivated. And in doing so, we weaken our psychological armor. Every time you wait for someone else's permission to start, you are telling your own mind that you are not enough. Every time you compromise your routine to fit in with people who do not value your future, you are choosing slow, predictable defeat. You must declare war on the need for company. When you step out onto the path of self-mastery, expect the circle to shrink. Expect the invitations to stop coming. Expect people to call you obsessed, cold, or distant. Let them talk. The herd always mocks what it cannot comprehend. They cannot understand why you would choose the friction of the weights over the comfort of the couch. They cannot understand why you would choose to study, to build, or to sweat while they are content to drift. Their mockery is not a sign that you are lost. It is a sign that you are leaving them behind. Your brain is wired by millions of years of evolution to fear social isolation. To our ancestors, being cast out of the tribe meant death. When you choose to walk alone, your brain will scream at you to turn back. It will trigger feelings of loneliness, doubt, and anxiety, It will tell you that it is safer to conform. This is the ultimate test of your discipline. You must learn to treat that evolutionary signal not as a warning, but as validation. You must override the ancient programming with modern grit. When the loneliness hits, you do not soften your stance. You tighten your grip on the shield. You dig your feet deeper into the dirt. You realize that isolation is not a prison. It is a laboratory. It is the only place where the noise of the world is muted enough for you to hear your own raw potential. Think about the sheer power of a person who genuinely does not mind being alone. If you do not need people to entertain you, you cannot be distracted. If you do not need people to praise you, you cannot be manipulated. If you do not need a crowd to validate your path, you cannot be broken by their criticism. This is the essence of dark discipline. It is a quiet, heavy focus that operates independently of circumstance. The weather doesn't matter, the social calendar doesn't matter, the presence or absence of support doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the execution of the objective. To master this walk, you must change how you view your daily environment. Stop announcing your plans to the world. Silence your intentions. The crowd does not need to know what you are building until the structure is already standing. When you constantly tell people what you are going to do, you receive a cheap, premature hit of dopamine. You get the credit for the victory without ever stepping onto the battlefield. Cut off the supply of cheap validation. Keep your goals hidden in the dark. Let your sweat remain private. Let your early mornings remain anonymous. Build in absolute silence, and let the undeniable reality of your results be the only statement you ever make. Look at your circle right now. Are the people around you sharpening your edge, or are they softening your resolve? True Spartans did not tolerate those who brought weakness into the ranks. They had no time for the lazy, the complacent, or the comfortable. If the people in your life are constantly pulling you back into old habits, if they are making you feel guilty for demanding more of yourself, you must have the courage to cut the cord. It is better to walk through the fire alone than to sit in the warmth with those who are content to burn their own futures. You do not owe anyone your potential. You do not owe the lazy your companionship. Your highest duty is to the person you are capable of becoming. This walk will test everything you have. There will be nights when the silence feels heavy. There will be mornings when the bed is warm, the house is dark, and the temptation to sleep in feels completely rational. In those moments, when there is nobody there to watch you, nobody there to hold you accountable, and nobody there to clap for you, that is where the real warrior is born. That is where the transaction occurs. Anyone can perform when the cameras are rolling. Anyone can work hard when they have a stadium cheering them on. But the elite, the truly disciplined, execute when the arena is completely empty. They do the work simply because they told themselves they would do it. When you reach this level of psychological fortitude, a strange transformation begins to happen. The isolation that once felt cold and intimidating begins to feel like power. You start to crave the quiet. You start to look forward to the hours where it is just you, the weights, the page, or the objective. You realize that the mind is a muscle that can only stretch when it is stripped of distractions. In the quiet, you discover your real voice. In the solitude, you build a foundation that no external crisis can crack. Do not mistake this for hatred of humanity. This is not about becoming bitter, cynical, or arrogant. It is about becoming self-contained. It is about understanding that your life is your individual campaign. If people want to run beside you at your pace, if they match your discipline and respect your boundaries, welcome them. The collective strength of aligned individuals is immense. But if they cannot match the stride, you do not slow down to keep them company. You keep moving forward. You keep pushing the line. Imagine standing at the end of your life, looking back at the path you walked. Do you want to see a path that was crowded, easy, and flat, leading to a destination that belongs to everyone else? Or do you want to see a rugged, steep, single-track trail that required every ounce of your courage to climb? A path that belongs uniquely to you. A path where every milestone was paid for with your own sweat, your own discipline, and your own solitary resilience. Stop looking around for companions. Stop checking your phone for permission. The battlefield of your life is open, and the enemy is the voice inside your own head, telling you to take the easy way out. Put on the armor of consistency. Take up the shield of focus. Step out into the dark, and do not look back to see who is following. When you become so disciplined that you do not mind walking alone, you realize that you were never truly alone to begin with. You are accompanied by your purpose. You are backed by your character. You are guided by your unyielding standard. Let the crowd have the comfort of the herd. Let them have the safety of the valley. Your place is on the peak, even if you have to climb the entire mountain by yourself. Stand your ground. Trust the process. Execute the plan. The crowd can keep the valley. Your place is at the top, so let the room go silent. Let the world walk away. You have a battle to win, and you are fully equipped to fight it. Look ahead, breathe in the cold air, and take the next step. Because from this moment on, you walk alone, and you are completely unstoppable.